Donald Trump, President Trump, does like him. He likes to take him some shots at the New York Times, the failing New York Times, and just never waste an opportunity to talk about how terrible they are, talk about how disingenuous they are. They love to claim themselves as the paper of record. Democracy dies in the darkness. That's the New York Times, right? I get them and the Washington Post confused because they're all the same. And every single thing that they write is just, it's so absolutely subjective, dripping with liberal bias. They obviously have their ideas that they want to promote, and they like work backwards into like, how do we want this story to fit our narrative? And I found actually the perfect example that just happened. They decided to write a hit piece about my recent H-1B visa investigation. The title of that was How the Visa Debate for Foreign Workers Fuels Racism Against South Asians. A dispute over the impact of H-1B visas on U.S. workers has been overshadowed by racist rhetoric with troubling echoes of the Great Replacement conspiracy theory. Remember, folks, don't believe your lying eyes. No, don't believe the fact that the Biden administration brought over millions upon millions upon millions of people in an open border and then, curiously enough, allowed them to, obtain driver's licenses and things that turns out would allow them to vote. Don't believe the fact that your communities are changing all around you. Don't believe that when you walk around your local Costco, you're the minority and nobody speaks your language. Don't believe any of that. It's just a conspiracy theory. It's not actually happening. Stop believing your lying eyes. Now, I would like to just point out in this, hit piece about my investigation, if the New York Times wants to take a swing at me, at least have the decency to name me. Why don't you at me, bro? Here's how they referenced my work. In Frisco, the tensions over H-1B were heightened by a conservative content creator who recently posted a much-watched video in which she made claims about possible H-1B fraud in the area. Shortly afterward, Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, you got to add that in there, ordered a pause on H-1B hiring at public universities and Texas agencies. Ken Paxton, the state's attorney general who is running for senator, announced an investigation into 3 businesses accused of fraud in the video. Now, I would just like to point out a couple quick things. The fact that they don't want to name me because they don't want to give my expose more exposure. The much-watched video, they couldn't even say like millions of people watched it. A much-watched video in which she made claims about possible H-1B fraud in the area. And then they mentioned Ken Paxton announced an investigation into 3 businesses accused of fraud in the video, which I don't believe that's what his memo said. Like they didn't say exactly what the businesses were, nor did they say they were the exact businesses in my video. So they've got all of that entirely wrong. But listen, it's glass half full for me today. I will say it's always a good day when you find out the New York Times has written a hit piece about your work. You're over the target if the New York Times sees that you did something that is so good, that is so truthful and well done and important that they don't want to name you. Because if they said Sara Gonzales actually posted this crazy expose, people might be able to watch it. And then if they watched it, they might stop being on the New York Times side because they'd see the truth, which is right in front of them. So it's a good day for me. It's a good day for me. Now, of course, being that they are libtarded, their only defense against any of this, their only defense is like, actually, let me tell you why you having a problem with H-1B fraud is racist. You're the racist. You're the xenophobe. So, of course, that's what they're going to do. But I would just like to say, hey, New York Times, if you actually wanted to do your job and investigate this visa fraud, which is the real problem here, you could have picked up the phone to call me. I'm literally right here, Monday through Friday, every day. I'm here. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I checked my inbox right before I came in here to tape this show, and I double, triple searched, and I didn't see anyone from the New York Times requesting any information, requesting any sort of comment, requesting any of my receipts. Instead, they just wanted to make this an issue about, they're not interested in seeking truth. They're not interested in seeking facts. They just want to make this about race because then they can turn their eye from what is actually going on. So now we're supposed to hear about how this is a big sob story for Indian people. They talked about the Frisco City Council meeting from earlier this month. There were a bunch of citizens who came to raise their concerns about fraud and other issues within the community. Now, the floor was open at a regular city council meeting in Frisco, Texas. Now, here's where the New York Times, this is sad. These poor Indians coming over here scamming people. This is sad. Okay, the floor was open at a regular city council meeting in Frisco, Texas, and several speakers riled by a recent viral video over visas for specialized foreign workers wanted to make their views known. They did not mince words about the program. Okay, hold on. Time out for a second. We're going to take a time out. They're actually unknowingly kind of making my point stronger here. They're actually demonstrating the point. The visas are for specialized foreign workers. They're supposed to be for very, very specialized foreign workers for a very specific skill set that we can't find here. It's just the problem is that what that translates into is like elementary school teachers and food service managers and caterers and all sorts of random occupations that you don't even actually need a degree to do. So thank you for proving my point that it's a problem if the visas are being used for anything other than very, very specialized talent that we can't find here. Okay, I'll continue. The visa, called H-1B, had led to an Indian takeover of the city. That's what these people said, according to the New York Times. The program, some said without citing proof, was full of fraudsters. Got to include they're not really fraudsters. They're just being accused of fraudsters. They're full of fraudsters and low quality scammers. They didn't cite the proof. They didn't bring my video into the city council meeting and press play so that for 3 minutes they could play some of my 20-minute video. Like, what? They didn't cite proof? The proof is all there. Hey, NYT, if you're so desperate for the proof, just email me. Pick up the phone and call me. DM me. I'm happy to give you my phone number. I would love to give you more information. You guys are the paper of record, right? You guys consider yourselves real journalists. I'm a journalist. According to the New York Times, they take themselves very seriously. So if you guys are the only people who are credible here, you should want to do this investigation, shouldn't you? I am eating, sleeping, and breathing this stuff. I've got so much evidence. In fact, I could really use your help. Like, my producer and I are drowning in all of this evidence. Steven, what am I doing literally every single evening?
Yeah, you're swamped in this. She's dead on.
I'm on the couch with my laptop. Steven's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "We're getting the H-1Bs out of here, babe. That's what I'm doing. I'm on a mission. The H-1Bs got to go. The ones who committed all of this fraud and all of this scam. And by the way, the majority of it I'm finding is the scam and the fraud and the shell companies and all of that. I've got all the documentation. You should see our Google document, New York Times. You should see the number of pages in our Google document. It is extensive. It is, really, really big. Maybe call me. You could check that out. We could use your help. But no, you don't actually want to help. You just want to throw shade at these people and highlight sob story after sob story. Okay, so the American people are getting scammed. They're getting scammed out of jobs and homes and resources and all. Like, we are getting scammed, but let me explain to you why you should feel sorry for the Indians who are scamming you. So they go on. At the recent city council meeting, residents of South Asian descent also lined up to speak. Any H-1B fraud, they all agreed, should be rooted out. Many, though, also had a sense of bewilderment. Like so many other legal immigrants, they've suddenly found themselves in a more hostile and unwelcoming environment. They pointed out that they had immigrated here legally, followed the rules, contributed to the economy, and pitched in to the community. Well, here's the thing. If you are, in fact, a legal immigrant, you followed all the rules, you contribute to the economy, you pitch into the community, not to change it to what you want it to be, but how it already was because you're assimilating, you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about, actually, because that's another thing the New York Times didn't really want to point out. They didn't feel like, I don't know, doing basic levels of journalism to point out that it's not just white people calling this out. This isn't a race thing. This isn't like all the whiteys who are like, ew, we don't like, ew, your hue is a little off. We don't like that. Ew, ick. No, thank you. It's not just white people calling this out. I might have had more people of South Asian or Indian descent reach out to me and tell me what I'm doing is right. By the way, I can't go around this Metroplex anymore without someone like I'm at a, I don't want to give anything away. I'm at a staple of Indian culture where you will find many of them at any given point. And I'm being recognized. And they're not saying, get that woman out. They're saying, I actually really appreciate, I'm a big fan. I really appreciate your work, because they're affected by the fraud also. What happens when you come in here? It's a non-immigrant visa for a reason. Now they're exploiting that, but it's a non-immigrant visa for a reason. They're exploiting it. They're coming in, they're staying, they're trying to get their green card, they're getting their green card, then they're becoming naturalized. And the people who are doing it the right way understand that now, as an American citizen, this affects them poorly too. This affects them negatively too. And I want to play a conversation that I had with someone who recognized me and came up to me and told me, hey, great work, you're onto something here, in one of these places. This is a man of South Asian descent. I'm not going to show him to protect his identity, but here's what he had to say.
You know how all these things works, right? How the people do scams, right? Mm-hmm. And so there are lots of these basic consulting company, the IT consulting company, how they work, mm-hmm. how they scam, right? Mm-hmm. They, how they hire the people. They the first Indian student, they come, they give mm-hmm. a 1 month of training from India, and there's a proxy guy who did the proxy and the fake 780 resume, and they get the job, right? So H-1B is another level of scamming. But with you blown up everything, all the, rat, when they see the cat, right? Yeah. All they are going down the, holes.
Yeah, they all scatter.
I served in the U.S. Army. I did
great. Thank you for your service. Yeah,
I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen.
Yeah,
right?
great.
I did all the hard works to come to get a job.
Exactly right.
But at the same, even in my company also, right? The Indian manager, like, they don't want to hire the U.S.
Exactly.
To be honest, man. So they want to kick me out from my team so they can bring colleagues.
Yep.
And they can get their cuts, right?
Right.
And so they start making feel bad about you. And they say, oh, your English is not good, you are not performing, you have to be like B6, B7, B8 Indian, like you have to perform more. Why? I'm a human being, I'm not a machine, right?
Right.
So, too many things. Yeah, so H-1B is the next level of the scamming going on. And they usually get more money from the guy in India.
Yeah.
Like, if they have to, like 40, 50 lakhs, like 1 lakh is like 100 grand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
jeez.
That's how they come, they do, and once coming over there, they put on different things. Like, for sure, if you scratch dig more and more, you're gonna find love.
This isn't a racial thing. Like, I just wish New York Times would have picked up the phone and called me. I could have pointed them in the direction of this man and so many others. I could have pointed them in the direction of a guy with a business not too far from here who literally did everything the right way and is now super supportive of all of our investigations. He's like rooting us on. We go to visit him sometimes when we're doing these investigations, and he's like, what'd you find next? I'm so happy with what you're doing. It's not about race. If you're not doing anything wrong, you understand the problem. Okay? Now, I also found this part of the story pretty funny, is this Heather Bunting, 43-year-old Frisco resident, has watched all this unfold with mixed feelings. Growing up in the area, she has seen the city rapidly grow and appreciates the opportunity to learn about Indian traditions. Last fall, her family attended a neighborhood Diwali event. She said, floating boats with candles on the community pond. I was telling my kids, it's kind of Christian. Like we're trying to spread the light, she recalled. Oh, is it? But over the last few years, her husband, who works at a telecommunications company, has seen his older white colleagues leave and more Indian H-1B workers hired, kind of like what we're saying is happening. And persistent rumors of restructuring make her increasingly worried about her husband's job. Okay? So what I'm saying tracks. Okay, cool. Show me the lie. There is none. She's also worried about her son's schooling, which has become, she said, more competitive with Indian families signing up for tutoring in school on Saturdays. Around 45% of students at the city's public schools are Asian, up from 13% more than a decade ago. Now, despite all of this, so despite this woman having her husband, I don't know, he might be out of a job, despite the fact that her kids can't actually, excel at education, and despite the fact that 45% of the students are like, your kid is almost in the minority, she resisted casting blame on an entire community. She resisted. Now, that's a lot to unpack, but I would just like to say, the New York Times, you can track down this random woman. Rando Frisco resident has all of this to say about you can track down this random woman, but not me. Right? Second, I don't think it's Christian to participate in Hindu festivals. Nope, I don't think so. I think it's the opposite, actually. So she's going through explaining all of the things that I'm already saying. These people are coming here. They're not assimilating. They're kicking you guys out. And she's like, but it's not their fault. Other than the fact that they're doing it all, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. By the way, when you read this entire story, which I don't recommend doing, I read it so you don't have to, the audacity of Frisco's mayor said many of the speakers were outside agitators who did not represent the majority of residents. Well, yeah, first of all, that's because the majority of residents are Indian. That's what you guys have done. So, no, they don't represent the majority of residents. That was by design. But by the way, I can't speak for them. I don't know whether they were outside agitators or not, but I'm here. I live here. I'm a born and raised native Texan. I'm a resident. I am native. And I care, okay? This is my issue that I care about as a native resident. I'm not an outside agitator. I live here. And it's not a race issue. I don't care if you're Indian, Chinese, white, brown, purple, whatever. If you're committing immigration fraud, you're going to be exposed. If you're committing immigration fraud, you should be deported. And by the way, thank the Lord we have President Trump, because you know who agrees with me? Him. He just came out with a new threat to all of these scammers and fraudsters. Whether you're Somalian, whether you're Indian, again, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what color your skin are. If you have come here with intention to fraud the system, to defraud us, you should go. You should go. Here's President Trump.
We're also going to revoke the citizenship of any naturalized immigrant from Somalia. or anywhere else who is convicted of defrauding our citizens. We're going to get them the hell out of here fast.
That is heartening. Okay, that is very heartening because they come in on a visa, they get the green card, they become naturalized, they can participate in elections. I mean, the way that this all unfolds is so unbelievably corrupt. We have to have all options on the table. We have to be able to denaturalize and deport these people. You got to go. Bye-bye. By the way, never come back. We don't want you here.